All right. Shabbat shalom. That's when you guys respond. Kevin's like, I don't know what you're talking about. We haven't said that in a long time. So this is the Sabbath. And sometimes people say, greetings, happy, how are you? We'll get into that at a different time. There's a couch up here. You guys want to come up? Come on, Annalisa. Come on. All right, so today we're going to do a little review. We have been talking for the past 3 weeks. Took us 3 weeks to get through 3 verses in the Bible. And we talked about different ways to understand the first 3 verses of Genesis 1 through 3. Breaking down the Hebrew, breaking down what these words meant. And every week I gave homework. You remember that? And so this is going to be a review of homework. How did we do? But to take it easy on everybody, I'm actually going to call up 2 people who I'm going to ask them some questions so that it will open up the doors for you to answer these questions as well. So first of all, give me the first slide. We talked about this last thing. This is where we ended. What are the things that you need to focus on? What are the things that matter in your life? And where should you be focusing your attention? What are the things that are extremely important to you? There's all these things that are important. There's all these things that I can't control that create worry and stress in our lives, that distract us from the things that need to actually be done, that give us anxiety, that give us stress, that give us, ulcers, that make our lives miserable, that I'm worrying about this stuff that I cannot control. But what is the little thing that is the most important, the thing that I have a little bit of control that I can choose to do? And so let's answer some of these questions. And I'm going to bring up Lindley and Nora to come up here. Come on. And I'm going to ask them some questions. Whatever seat, you said left seat, so I gave you the left one. Come on. Oh, wait, did I give you the wrong seat? Did I take their seat? There's a water bottle. Daniel, sit next to here.
I pulled them up with my bed. I didn't see there. I was like, empty couch, come on. All right, so I got some questions for these guys. And they were like, oh, questions. Yeah, we'd love to come up and answer some questions.
I got a phone call. I said, oh, what's he called?
Yeah. And I said, hey, come on, answer some questions, please. Yeah, we won't go. Anyway. So I had some questions for them. And basically, go ahead and put the homework page up too. So this is one of the things. Actually, stay here for a second.
Okay.
I was just talking about this. We had broken down Genesis 1 through 3 into a new way to look at it. A different way to maybe read the text for you. And I had asked you, one of the questions, to look at this, maybe make it into your own prayer. Take this passage and maybe write it down and use this as a prayer for your own life. As we reinterpreted this based on what the text actually said in the Hebrew. And we personalized it to you specifically. And so, then I have homework, the next slide. This is one of the last things we finished on. How does God build you in your life, so on and so forth. And so, based on those questions, go back to that passage. Let's do it just for a second. Based on that, we're going to start with question number 1. I'm going to start with you guys, and I might jump out from here as well, just to see. So the questions that we have are based on when God began creating new things in my life. You remember that? That was the very first week we talked about this. And the question that I had was, what is God doing new in your life? And I said, did you create a prayer around this verse and personalize it? So as we talked about this 3 weeks ago, hopefully this has been on your mind for a few weeks. And you've been aware, been looking at, what has God created new in my life? Has God been doing something in my life that maybe I wasn't even aware of? And because I've opened my eyes to this and opened my awareness to this, now I see that God is active and involved in my life. So I'll let that do. Did you see anything? Did you notice anything?
I have not.
Okay.
And those questions all kind of led to a frustrating answer for me because the answer was the same to all 3. It's like 3 plus 3 is 6. But 9 minus 3 or 9 minus 6 is 7, right? So, and I just haven't been very good at seeing that other people have the same issues and things that I do really helped me to kind of focus. Like I went home and read this book called Freedom, a couple chapters on freedom. Learning that freedom is not free. You gotta look at it. It's the same thing with being stupid, you know, the word. And Thursday, I was like, oh, I gotta go do this. So I read it, and after that, it was like, boy, you know what, I'm glad I read it. It really felt good. It's like running. Sometimes you gotta run, and you feel, oh man, I hate it. It's hard. But you do it, and you're glad that you did it. Yeah. Friday, last night, I went 9:30, cracked the book open, read, went to silence, and so it's a matter of getting into it. Of not chaos. More spirit. So,
No, I thought that was great. I think that was, thank you for, the vulnerability. Like, how many of you want to say, like, get called up here to answer a question? You're like, I didn't do it. That takes guts right there and vulnerability. And this is one of the things that why I wanted these guys up here is because I want there to be a level of vulnerability where we can be real. That you can be actually honest with some of these questions. And I love the fact that you said it was Wednesday. There was a few of us that had a conversation. And what inspired you? You said that you had the ability to say that you weren't the only one. I guarantee you there's probably a large group of people here who would answer the same way. Are you willing to admit that? Yeah, right? To say like, oh yeah, I followed the homework to a T, like I did it. Like, we would all like to say that, but did we? And then you said something even more important. You said freedom isn't free. You have to work at it. Man, we love to quote the scriptures that said, that Jesus set us free. We love to say these things. But with that, there's a responsibility. With that, there is something that we have to do because of what he did for us. Otherwise, we won't experience these spiritual moments. We won't experience this freedom. We won't experience the thing that God has given us because if we're lazy and apathetic or just not lazy and apathetic, busy. How many of us are just so busy that we come on Saturday and this is great and then we don't do anything until next Saturday? Is that a struggle for anybody else? Now, yeah, that's a question. Yes? How does that make you feel? Inadequate. Why does that? That's an interesting word. Why inadequate? Or discipline. Great. Fantastic. Great answers. Nora, let's go to you. Really loud, because I know you're like, kind of quiet. But for everybody to hear you, did you experience anything different or the same? What is God doing new in your life?
Well, I got questions, so I thought about them.
Okay.
But maybe I've noticed everything starting, but I haven't been looking for new things because it's been the same rhythm. I have noticed there's a lot of people, and I'm getting out of the house more. And I've noticed that I need to make an effort with those people to get up. Also about the work. When I come to a group or something, I like to do all these things and then make promises and notice that I have to. The main thing was to make effort at home because it's a different circumstance and I have other things.
Mm-hmm. And so have you been able to do that, or is that hard?
I have. I'm going outside.
Okay.
But sometimes sleep's
We need that.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. Does anybody in here have like a rhythm that they found, like you've been able to put some of these things into practice, that you found a rhythm that you can do some of these things, pray on a regular basis, maybe study on a regular basis, all the things that we've kind of been talking about over the past few weeks? Has anybody had, and it's not perfect, there is no perfection, but is there anybody that has a decent rhythm that they feel like, yeah, I've done that and I can feel like I've experienced something?
I think, well, for one, I know my dad has read the same common prayer book for the last like 8 years, every single morning.
Yeah.
He has devotion or prayer exertion.
Mhm.
Every single morning.
Mhm.
How he does still get something new out of it, I don't know. But it's very nice.
And what time does he get up?
Look, it's like 4:35. 6:45.
Yeah.
I will give you this. It depends on what job he's on, because sometimes he has to start earlier than others. Sometimes it's 4:30, sometimes it's 5:30. But it is
He gets
early.
up before that.
Right. How many of you are willing to get up at 4:30 to do this stuff?
Well, so that's what I was gonna say. I really feel like only it doesn't doesn't matter. Just like you're like mom. But my rhythm was that like studying, even if they're like extremely like stupid, not like it's as if you're not getting anything done.
Mm-hmm.
It's still the same that you can say to right now.
Mhm.
So if I commit to reading my Bible once a month, and I know for a fact that I can do that, then I'm not gonna like let myself down. Whereas like if I say I'm gonna read once a day for 5 minutes every day, then I know that I'm gonna let myself down. And that's the same that like I hold myself to. You know, so my rhythm isn't necessarily like I pray every day at this time because I'm not a creature of habit. I think I do something different every single day.
Mhm.
And it's a lot of days I'm doing. But I'm also like set like the like grace and forgiveness for myself to where it's like I used to get in all days and God's just not gonna like protect me. Or he's not gonna like show his face. He's not gonna love me and he's not gonna like see my unworthiness. But that's a lie. I don't want to believe that about God. I want to believe that he sees that I'm not trying. And I honestly want to,
Let me ask you a question. Did you guys catch all that? Like, I think that sums up so many people today. And I've wondered the root of that. And I wonder if sometimes, not everybody, but I wonder if some people struggle with the fact if I don't do it right, then I'm failing. And I don't want to fail, so I don't do it. And how many people are held back because I don't want to feel like a failure, because maybe I'm feeling like a failure in my marriage or in my job or in this or some other place. And so this is just one more place where I'll feel like a failure, so I'm just not going to do it. And what would happen if we just recognize that as human beings, we're not perfect? And the goal isn't to make sure that I do it every single day, but if I get up and I don't do it today, then I'll do it tomorrow. And it's okay to just pick up where I left off, and that's okay. If we hold ourselves to such high standards, we will never attain anything. Then we live like what Yeshua kind of complained about, people that lived by the letter of the law instead of the spirit of the law. We can't be legalistic about, I got to do this and I got to do that and I got to pray at this time. And some people are really good about being disciplined. Your dad is very good at being disciplined. But you can't hold yourself to his standard. Why? Because you're not him. And that's okay. I'm not getting up at 4:30 in the morning to do that. Abby, I'll brag on her a little bit. She's just in the past month decided she was struggling with this. So she gets up at 5 in the morning now before she goes to work out and she does this stuff. I don't think I can do that. I'm a creature of habit. I do mine later in the day. That's a struggle for me. But everybody's different. So you have to find your rhythm. You have to find your rhythm. That's what Lindley just said, the freedom part. You have to work at it. But it has to be you. You can't copy somebody else and do what they did. What is it that fits you in your rhythm and how you do your day? and find God in that space and just make sure that, okay, this is my best time to meet with God. This is my best time to pray. This is my best time to open up my Bible. Whatever that is, find it for you. And if you didn't do it today, well, it's okay. Try to do it tomorrow. Because we're all in this together. And some people, and I'm glad that you said that, some people, sometimes we need a little boost. Sometimes I need somebody texting me saying, hey, you said you were going to read today. How was it? We need that a little accountability. We need that, like I work out in the morning with Lenny. Some of you guys know Lenny, right? I work out with him in the morning, and if I don't show up on time, like he is cursing me, literally cursing me, right? It's joking, in a joking manner, but if I don't do it, like he's going to be all on me, like white on rice. Like he's like, where are you? Why aren't you here? We're doing this. Like all over me. And sometimes I need that because when I wake up and I'm like, I do not want to get up today. But if I don't get up, Eleni's going to be yelling my name, blah, blah, so I just might as well get up. Sometimes we need that spiritual accountability too. How's your prayer life? How's your marriage? Are you treating your husband like you should be? Well, the guilt just hit you, didn't it? We need that accountability in our life. Somebody to push us to become the best that we can be. Because if I don't have that in my life, I'll slip into apathy and laziness just like everybody else. So I have several people in my life holding me accountable for different things. Because I'm no different than any other human.
That's one thing about rhythm too.
Please.
I thought about this. Chaos is a rhythm too. It's like if somebody stayed at your house, coming to your house the first 3, 4, 5 days, oh man, this is awesome. You start getting around that 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th day. It's throwing everything off, That's kind of what I've been feeling for these past couple of weeks is that, just so much. But again, if you got to work to spin it around the other way until you do have to stop some of that and replace it with something that's good for you mentally.
Excellent. Yeah, this is open. Go.
I was just gonna say, kind of along the lines of what you were saying about perfection, that's 100%. If I can't do it perfectly, then I'll just kind of be passive about it, But I really have to work through that, and I found that even in my carving out time for God, I started thinking about well now it has to look like everything, it has to be this legit study, and it has to be of quality. Even my time with God has to be this standard. Even when I settled with, okay, well, I'll just do it when I can or whatever. I was scrutinizing how I went to God. And I was in a bookstore and I randomly found this Jesus Calling book, and it's this morning evening Jesus Calling book. And the devotional was this big, and it had a couple scriptures with a couple lines. And I just told myself, I'm going to start with this. I'm going to wake up, I'm going to read this small devotional, and I'm going to go to sleep and read this small devotional. And just that little tiny bit, the 5 minutes changed so much in my week.
Yeah.
So even when we think about creating and stuff like that, sometimes we think it has to be this big thing. But the thing about it is 2 minutes of time, a second of time can change everything, So anyways, I just wanted to do that because that's something
Sure. Yeah. You never know where you're going to find inspiration. It can be in a little tiny devotional. It can be in a conversation with a bunch of guys and saying, yeah, I struggle with this too. There was 15 years ago, I was watching P90X, right? I used to do that workout. Tony Horton. Remember what he would say all the time? Do your best. Forget the rest. Right? Because psychologically understood this process, if you don't make it to the workout today, so many people quit. He's like, don't quit. If you can't finish the workout, don't quit. Just get up and do it again. Just do what you can today. And then forget what you couldn't do. Don't beat yourselves up for the things that you couldn't do. Think of like the things that you just did and just keep moving forward on this process. Do your best, forget the rest. Have you found time to be silent? Yeah, you. Not much. Any?
Yes, sometimes when I'm doing a visual, I stop and be like, okay, I'm supposed to be silent. But usually by then, sometimes it's morning or evening, and I'm thinking about the day or the next day, and what I'm gonna do for breakfast, and I have to do school, and it's harder if I've already done my to-do list, and I know what I have to do, and then I'm going through the steps of it. So I have to do it first thing.
Okay.
Do you feel like you're with a really like checklist? Like you just you get off the checklist and it's just kind of whatever you do.
Yeah, I can improvise, but
Yeah.
it just makes you feel first thing. I try to look.
All right. Excellent. Silent. No. Anybody? Anybody like turn their radio off, turn their podcasts off, and just drive home in silence? Yes? Yes? Absolutely.
I feel like because most of my day, I always feel like my mind is always running on what's, it's always got to be 3 steps ahead, like planning dinner. Once you start you wake up in the day, you're already thinking what's going to be for dinner because then somebody's going to be asking you around noon, or what are we planning, for next Thursday or next month or whatever. I have to, and I don't know if my family understands that so much, but because we love music in our house, and I love music too, but there are just times that I have got myself. I don't, even if it's beautiful music, just turn it all off. Like everything needs to be off. I need to have that quiet. It's because then I can't even think. I have a hard time focusing if there's any sound at all. But, so I appreciate that, and I usually do. That's probably my first half an hour of the day is getting up, grabbing a cup of coffee, and just going out and sitting. And even before I listen or read the Bible that day, I'm just having time to just look around. I've even noticed how much louder the birds are in the spring than they are in the summer. I have noticed that because in the spring it's like they're all fluttering about, having conversations, and everybody's looking for love and all that stuff. And now it's like, okay,
It's too hot.
Even my favorite bird that comes from church is on the, out in front of my back porch, like a joke. Like a joke, it's my bird. And he comes in, he sits, he just looks around.
No singing. Anybody else? Silence? Hard? Able to do it? What? Very difficult. Okay?
Try to do it. Saturday, the match is black. Nothing black. Black street, black. There's a white street. There's a Starburst.
Well, remember, it's not, the whole idea wasn't to like think of nothing. No, it was not that. I don't want you to think of nothing. That's why it was black, right? And the starbursts were you turning the lights on, right? No, it's difficult, but the goal wasn't to think of nothing, because that's takes years of work, and I don't even think is that beneficial. But to at least get to the point where you cannot have any other distractions, and you can just maybe be aware of your own presence. Thought comes in, you start thinking about something. Why am I thinking about this? Allow that thought maybe to go on. Or maybe that's taking you deeper into some type of creativity, and you're like, oh, wait, this could go here. And just allow your mind to wander sometimes, because it's in that wandering where creativity takes place. And it's also in that wandering where it takes you into places where your conscious mind doesn't ever think. And remember, sometimes it's in the dark spaces of our brain. You know, we talked about the light and the dark, but it's in that dark space where God speaks to us. And so sometimes in that daydreaming, that's where God talks. And that's where God says, Matt, call Corey, right? Or Kevin. Like, I've had these moments where I'm just thinking, not purposefully, but allowing my mind to wander, and all of a sudden something will come to my mind, and be like, why did that name come up? Why am I supposed to do this? Why am I thinking this right now? But we can't ever get there if we're singing, listening to the radio, listening to politics, and like, oh my gosh, like, you can't ever get to that point if there's noise. And the point, why do I think what?
That there can't be noise. I really very much dislike silence because you can hear things that should not be heard. And it bothers me. I don't like to hear the jaws and nails like sticking on the floor. Or like Arlo is like the loudest mouth working dog. And if you can hear him from another room.
Yeah.
I think, you know,
Maybe you need a white noise machine.
I don't like the sound canceling.
You need, yeah.
That's what I used to like people white noise me on my radio acts the same way. So this guy can be silent. Like it's just
But it doesn't have, that's what I'm saying, white noise can like tune out like the other distractions, right?
But that,
I will say the 7 o'clock meeting, that,
The what?
the 7 o'clock meeting.
but that's when silence is deafening.
Yes,
It's so silent that it bothers you.
yes, right. And that was the point. I'm not trying to get you to a bothered state. I'm trying to get you to a state of mind that is open and free, right? All right, so this is the question. Now, how do you balance? How do you balance the light and the shade? How do we balance the two? Next slide. How do we balance, we talked about the dark and the light. How do you balance your emotions from making good decisions? How do you know when your emotion is like, wait, I'm speaking purely out of emotion here. Maybe I should step back and think about what's happening before I explode or before I speak to somebody. Because emotions are good, but if there's too much emotion and not enough logic, it can be bad, right? How do you know when to react to something or to be patient? How do you know when to speak or when to listen? How do you know when to clean your room or leave a little bit of a mess? How do you know when you need some time alone or when you need community? How do you know when you need to be Martha instead of Mary? What's the tension? Did you think about this tension over the past week? Because we just did this last week. There's the tension. Are you aware of this tension and what happened? You said nothing.
I'm sorry.
You said 9 minus 3 equals 6.
9 minus 3 equals 6, but 3 plus 3 equals 6 too. So it's the same question.
Okay.
Not the same answer,
Did you
but
notice?
in a different way.
Did you notice at all over the week that, or maybe starting Friday, that there was a tension that you felt?
Well, if you're saying tension or, I'm sorry.
Yeah, a tension between what I should do or what I shouldn't do.
By Friday, I did not, because I just kind of got it saying, hey, I went home 9:30 or whatever time it was. I was like, this is just a good thing. But Thursday was that battle.
Mm.
Yeah, I gotta go read. Yeah. But it was good. Then Friday, it was, this is part of what I really need.
Okay.
So it's like this. I don't think it's ever flat
No.
going for me. Could be different for everybody else, but for me, it's never flat. Never goes to 100%. I'm minus 100, but I gotta get that curve to where it gets back to 50 and then it passes it up.
That's what that is. You just defined it. That's the tension, right? There is no flat line. I said this last week. There's no such thing as balance. We all want balance in our life, but there is no such thing as balance. You're going to have a pull here and a tug there. You're going to have Thursday's a perfect example. Like, I know I should be doing this, but I'm feeling like I got to do this. And so because of that, then Friday rolled around and you started to move in the other direction. That's the tug. Great answer. Go ahead. For you?
Maybe, between doing school and having a mind break sometimes. But it's mostly, emotions and logic.
Okay.
It's the hardest one for me, because when I'm talking or arguing with family or something,
You keep looking at your sister.
usually I have to go to my room because it helps me think more logically.
Okay.
And separate emotions.
Well done. Excellent. So you figured that out over the years to like recognize, okay, before I say anything, good. Well done. What about you guys? That's a great answer. Any of those? Any of the tug between the light and the dark, whether it be emotions and logic, or Martha and Mary, or be by myself, or I need community, any of this stuff that we struggle with.
Some people are a lot better at keeping your emotions intact. Like for Bruce and I, when we get emotional, we kind of get emotional, And so sometimes we might say things that we shouldn't have said. And so there's that tension of, you say things, but then it presents a conversation that you have to have in order to bring things back to the way they should be.
Right.
And so, because we're both kind of wired up in that way, that's just, that's part of, not that we always say things we shouldn't say, I'm not saying that, I'm saying if it comes to that,
Mhm.
then you have to bring it back and you have to have a conversation.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. And we have found that because we're two very emotional people, we do need to take turns.
Mm.
We do need to take time away. We gotta say, I need to step away before I explode.
Excellent. Anybody else?
I think I can be very patient. I'm shocking to everything here. I'm not an overly emotional person.
No.
I probably do err on the side of emotion usually. But I have found myself in situations very frequently, as of lately, that are very stressful or would probably creates a lot of emotion because they're just things on a daily basis that you don't think you'd be experiencing. But I feel like if I have to speak less. Because if I start to speak, it's either gonna be wow, things are gonna come out. And so, I don't want to be your pricing at work, but it's, you gotta take a deep breath, and you gotta literally look away from the situation, or, because if not, you'll respond.
I was told by an old man a long time ago, he was old, he said, listen, you know what's gonna get you through? You need to listen twice as much as you talk. Because you're right, when you just act and say something immediately, a lot of times that's all you say. If you get a second, think about it. Let's do it this way instead of saying, damn.
Yep.
I think just being attention to your body, I know that when I started getting stimulated, it doesn't necessarily mean that I need to do a better job at something, which is usually my first thought.
Mhm.
Okay, right before Kate, and I hate it because it happens all the time. And I'm so bad at trying to stop it. Because he's my person now.
That's okay. Well, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, yeah, the balance is the life.
Yeah.
When I start feeling like there's something else going on, or like I haven't had time, like I haven't had silence, or I haven't had help, or there's so much moments where, like, I just need to start paying attention to, like, my heart starts beating faster, I can't get, like, out of my head. It even takes simple as just stepping out of the house, like, just, like, get in a room, or, you know, but just, like, I used to think that, like, I need to just stop doing this. You know, I don't know if we were just stop doing this. But then it never works.
Right.
It just makes me more mad.
Right.
So, and it just made me.
The whole point of the light and the dark is that we become more and more self-aware. Where do we feel the tug, and then understanding I feel that tug, so I need to go in the opposite direction, right? If I'm tired and I need to get stuff done, then I should listen to my body and I should get more sleep, because then if I'm rested, I'll get more done, as opposed to I'm just going to push through. I only need 5 hours sleep. I'll do this all week. It's not good. But also, from the spiritual perspective, there's an opportunity where I'm feeling empty, and the dark side is calling out, where's God? Where have you spent time with God? Where have you listened? Where have you been silent? And then the light side is like, hey, lazy guy, go out and serve somebody. Did you help that person that you talked to today? Did you say, hey, you got a problem? I'll pray for you. And then you forget all about it? Or did you show up at their house with your prayer? Like, here, let me help you. There's this balance between the silent and the stuff that you bring in, and then the light where you're supposed to go do something with it, to be obedient to God, to live God's word out. And you should feel this tug back and forth every day between those two sides as well. The tug is, are you self-aware of what you need? Not just emotionally, physically, mentally, but spiritually as well. Are you self-aware of what you need spiritually in your life? When you need to take God in, or when you need to put God out? Do you know these things? Next week, we are going to be starting to get ready for the high holidays. The biblical high holidays that we follow from the Torah. It's 6 months divided between Passover and Shavuot, and then now we're at Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and Sukkot. And so next week, we're going to be talking about what Rosh Hashanah is. And then the following week, we're going to the 40 Arpit. We're going to blow the shofar. Daniel's got a friend who introduced me to. He's got a guy that blows the shofar professionally. Like, he's really good. So he might be able to do it for us this year. So it'll be interesting. So next week, we're going to be talking about this. There's a bunch of new people, so we're going to be talking about what Rosh Hashanah is, or Yom Teruah is, right? What is the heart behind this festival, this holiday that God said, you are to make this a Sabbath for me. And so next week, I'm excited, and I want you to bring somebody who needs to hear about what does it mean to live their life for God. Because we're going to be talking about teshuvah. We're going to be talking about repentance. We're going to be talking about a life renewed. We all know somebody in this parish who is struggling and who needs something new in their life. And as we've been talking about, put the passage back up. We've been talking about, all the way back, right there. When God began creating new things in my life, man, I know people in this parish who need something new in their life. Who the path that they are on right now is leading to destruction or apathy or just miserable unhappiness. And they need something new in their life. And so my prayer that as I've been reading through this the past 3 weeks, is like, God, I pray that there's new things that is taking place in this parish. That hearts are being opened up so that you can speak a newness into their life. So please, join us next week. And let's see where God takes this passage, this beginning in our own community, in our own lives. Let me pray. Father, we thank you for today. We thank you for an opportunity to be vulnerable with each other in this room, to be real, to be genuine, to be honest. We pray, Father, that as we can be honest with each other, that it reflects how honest we want to be with you, how real we want to be with you. I pray, Father, that our heart can be opened as we seek and pursue you as a genuine relationship, that we can seek your love and that we can experience that same love in return. I pray, Father, that you can open our eyes and our heart and guide us as we long to serve you and these people in this parish. May we be a light in a dark place. And may we hear you in everything that we do. We praise your holy name. Amen.